Hey there, and welcome to the Think Fitness Life podcast. We're fueled by the incredible clients who inspire us every day, allowing us to elevate their health and fitness journeys. On this show, you'll gain valuable insights from top professionals, hear inspiring transformation stories, and discover the knowledge and motivation to create your own best life. Let's dive in. As someone who has continuously used therapy as a way to heal and elevate my personal performance, I know wholeheartedly that you cannot always read the label when you're in the jar. And that's why it's so helpful to have a professional in your corner to talk to. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp to provide our listeners with the opportunity to work with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home. Receive 10% off your first month when you sign up by going to betterhelp.com/TFL. That's betterhelp.com/T as in think, F as in fitness, L as in life. And remember, you're not alone. There are people out there who can help.
All right, welcome back to the Think Fitness Life podcast. Today we're going to dive into the mindset of things. People often ask me this question, and I've thought about this probably years over years, and many times thought about it to try to come up with an answer. What drives you? What's your mindset? And I've always find this question to be tough because I've always had this dire mindset to be someone better than who I was or who I am. And it comes out sometimes as, I tell people, it's going to come out as a pretty kind of self-centered at first, drive and motivation. It's going to be a good thing for people to understand how my brain operates in a quick glimpse of what my brain thinks about on a daily basis and how I approach different things and how I approach my mindset. Because often I tell people I wish I could take my mindset, bottle it up, and sell it for people to be successful. Because mindset is one of the biggest things. Mindset, discipline, willpower is one of the biggest things to train as a human, in my opinion, because it sets you up on the path of success. And a lot of times I see people wanting to have that mindset, not knowing where to start, wanting to have that mindset, but they get bogged down when it comes to these tough decisions and these decisions that are going to interrupt on where they want to be, how they want to live, what they want to do, or whatever. So I've always looked at it through a lens of how do I describe what my mindset is and how can I be so rigid at times and how can I have this being of goal and get to it. So we're going to take a dive into, peel back the layers of my brain today so you can get an idea of my mindset, how it operates, and hopefully along the way, maybe get some things out of how you can start structuring that into your own world. So there's a podcast ago where Matt and I went over my background, my history. So a lot of people look at me now and they look at me and go, whoa, you're a big guy. You must have always been this. And I tell people on the contrary is no. Then they ask me what sport I played and I tell them football in college and they're like, wow, you must have been a linebacker, yada, yada. And then I tell them what they don't think or they don't expect. I tell them, no, I played wide receiver and I was 40, 50 pounds lighter than I was right now. And they look at me with this, are you serious effect? Or this, are you serious look? And they can't believe it because a lot of people see or perceive me as I am now, but they never met me back then. Then I tell them that, yes, I was a very skinny kid when I was younger. That was one of my big things and big drivers to hit the weight room, to gain muscle mass, and to become bigger, is I was just naturally skinny. Everyone in my family is naturally skinny. My brother is, my dad was, my dad is. It's just how it goes, especially when we're younger. It's just, we have fast metabolisms. It is what it is. I tell a lot of people, if I don't eat a lot of protein, a lot of food, I can lose a couple pounds, nothing. So my metabolism is still there. And then they're shocked Why I say that is because that was one of the biggest drivers for me when I was 15 years old. I signed up to play football. Yeah, I wanted to play football, but it wasn't really football that was the driver. It was to be a better athlete, of course. I've always been competitive. I love playing competitive baseball, football, and a drive to be better. But really what it was, what I took out of it was I needed to put on more muscle mass and be bigger so I could excel at a sport. And then of course, as a 15-year-old, there's also the social aspect of it. I was a 15-year-old, you're going through puberty, you're starting to become a man. Yeah, you want to impress girls. So what do most females, what do you see in the movies? Well, I took that from what I saw in the movies. Guys who had a lot of muscle mass, guys who were big, guys who lifted and worked out. Look at the pro athletes, look at the sport athletes. They're in shape. I took in my head, I said, this is what I need to be to get to my goals, whether it was from a social standpoint, looking for females, because I think that's one thing a lot of people are afraid to talk about, especially training younger athletes to know, or even older athletes, know that there's a social hierarchy and there's a social aspect to someone's determination, drives, and self-image. And one of the biggest drivers is, how do I impress the opposite sex? How do I impress a girl? How do I impress a boy? Vice versa. It doesn't matter. How do you get them to notice it? And that was one big driver because I was the shy, quiet kid back in the day. So that's a driver, or one of the drivers at the time of my mindset. And then, of course, I wanted to be competitive. I wanted to start on the football team. I wanted to improve myself day over day. So when peeling back layers, when people ask me the question, for goals, I don't think it's bad to have certain goals that are more self-revolving around maybe yourself. Hey, I want to get in shape. I want to put muscle mass on because I want to impress girls, and I want to enhance my potential at finding a girlfriend, finding a wife, whatever. That's totally realistic. And throughout my life, I've lived that. That's been my mantra, but because that's what drives me. That's one thing that I've seen that has led to success is, okay, if I work out and I eat healthy and I feel happy with how I look, I now can attract the people that I want to, right? So from a social aspect of it, I would say you have to have that drive of, where do you see yourself in the social hierarchy? Because social hierarchies exist everywhere. In the animal kingdom, they're everywhere in all kinds of animal species. And we have a volatile and absolute crazy one as humans. And it can be a cesspool at times. So where do you see yourself? Right? If you're sitting here listening to this, where do you see yourself in the social hierarchy? How do you want to pull yourself up in that social hierarchy? And that's how my brain started to think. How am I going to pull myself up in this social hierarchy, this social economic hierarchy? What does it take? Okay, well, at a young age, I want to be really successful. And then I want to put muscle mass on and be big. Perfect. 2 goals right there. Now, at the time, I was specifically, this is my goals. Did I care about school? Yeah, not really. I got good grades, but that was the biggest driver. You could not get me out of the weight room for anything. So it was, how do I hone my craft as an athlete? You got to show up early, stay late, practice. There'd be times where I would go to early morning throwing, early morning practices, because I didn't want to miss one aspect of being better. And at the same time, I also didn't want to let down and show the coaches that I didn't care, because I wanted to show them that I was invested and I was dedicated to the craft, to the hard work, so they would notice it and understand it. Even if I didn't, per se, make the team or start, I want to show them that I was here for the process, and this was the goal, and we were grinding. And after every season, I can remember my football coach would self-evaluate people, and he wasn't shy to tell people, you could have worked harder, you could not. But when he got to me, I never had to worry about, did I work hard enough? Because in the weight room, in the captain's practice, I was always showing the hard work and showing up and putting there. So when it comes to it, for me, it was, this person's now judging my character. Can this person now rely on me? This coach. And I'm setting the standard for, as a sophomore and junior, for years to come. I'm setting the standard for me for next year as a senior when I'm playing football. He's going to come to me and say, I've seen this kid in the weight room every single day. He's busting his ass. He's working hard. He's putting in the effort. Okay, this is someone that I want to have on the team and drive a culture, because I don't have to question, are they working hard enough? And then when you have losing seasons on any sports team, you start asking, am I good enough? Did I work hard enough? Did we do all the right things? And when you reflect as a team and you look at players to your left and right, and you look at the kids that skipped captain's practice and skipped lifts, you start getting those answers. And then you create a poor culture. So I never, when the coach was in front of me, never wanted him to have doubt in me or to say, hey, he didn't work hard enough. So there was never an answer, even though we were on a losing team. So he didn't have to worry about my work ethic. Another big driver. So you take that and you keep it going, right? Because then you get out of high school and you have college, you have another whole social hierarchy, and it starts all over again. In my brain, it starts all over again. Okay, social hierarchy, freshman, you're at the bottom. How do I impress people? Boom. What do I need to do to become successful as an athlete? Here's what I need to do. Same thing, showing the coaches day in, day out, even if I wasn't starting or making the team at some point, he's showing up every single day, giving the effort and putting in the work, showing that dedication towards a goal. And they see that. When people see that you are dedicated towards a goal and you'll push yourself towards that goal, they're going to give you that buy-in and trust, especially coaches, because they want to see, they're passionate about coaching their sport. They want to see you giving the same exact passion back to the sport. So we go through college. And then it comes to, okay, now you have a career choice. What are you passionate about when it comes to a career? How do you want to become the best? So you go through college, you get into the real world, then the next social hierarchy starts again. You become back to, okay, where do I want to be social economically? Where do I want to be in a social status? What do I want to look to people? How do I want to present? And as we grow older, right, this mindset of having this work ethic, it changes as we go. Not the work ethic, the mindset, but the person changes. You might have different goals come up. But what I really want to emphasize is that drive to success. And for me, it always came down to, even if I'm not good enough or I didn't understand it, wasn't the best athlete, I will always outwork you no matter what. I will put in the work. If I'm not first, I'm not going to stop. So then that came to my profession, career, and anything else. If I want to be good, I do average work. But if I want to be one of the best, I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to try to absorb as much information as I can. I'm going to put myself on a trajectory that other people aren't. I'm going to do work that other people don't want to do, or when they're tired, I'm going to want to keep working to get an advantage. And that's peeling back how my brain really likes to operate. How can I outbeat and outdo someone else? Because in the world, it is a competition. The world is a jungle. And if you're not successful, it'll chew you up and spit you out. And it does not care. And it's a harsh thing to hear, because people don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. And one of the biggest things that I learned coming up at Equinox, which is a very, very competitive environment to work, right? You either successful, you make it, or you fizzle and don't. It teaches you how to put that work in. And if you really want to be the best, you have to own it, and you have to do your craft every single day to prove a point, because most people are watching. So anytime that, for me, it was stepping on the floor as a trainer, I'm representing myself, how I act, how I conduct, how I look. This is all important. How I coach. It's all important on how successful you're going to be. And then the education behind it. Is this person trustworthy enough that someone else is going to trust them to oversee their nutrition, oversee their training. And then can they get that buy-in from someone? Can you influence someone to do something? Big driver for me right there. So it's peeling back the layers. When people ask me, oh, what motivates you? Nothing's changed from when I was 15. I still tell people in my head, I'm still this small 15-year-old guy. I'm still trying to catch up to people that I think are better than me. Yeah, more athletic, bigger, stronger. That's always the case. There always will be. Yes, you want to be strong, but you step into some other gyms, there's guys stronger than you do in other things. I might never get to that spot, but it's okay because I'm going to keep pushing myself to be better and be stronger so I can elevate, become a better coach, become a better person. And when it comes to life side, it teaches you those lives. And that's why I really never left the weight room. The weight room teaches a great lesson of if you put in the work, you'll get the rewards. The weight on the bar doesn't give a damn what you think. If it's too heavy and you don't want to move it or can't move it, it's going to push you right back to the floor and crush you. And yeah, there are times where you're going to fail in the weight room. You're going to have these days which absolutely suck. But it's not one of those things where you say, hey, this was a bad day. I'm bad at this. I'm going to become down at myself. No, you say, I'm going to pick up. I'm coming back tomorrow. And where it comes to the feeling down or sad, because there's a lot of people that once they get frustrated, they get sad, they don't have drive or motivation. That's going to happen. It's going to be, okay, I'm sad, I'm mad, whatever happens, right? Things happen in life. You might take that time, but that's not going to dictate the rest of your life. And how my brain also operates is it's going to look at the day, it's going to look at tomorrow, it's going to look at next week, 2 months, 3 months, and years down the road. My brain looks at things. What is my goal and how do I get there? So I then construct what it's going to look. So I have a future vision, then I pull back and see what I need to do to get to that vision. So everything I'm doing today, right now, I'm thinking about how this is going to impact me tomorrow, 2 weeks, 2 months, a year, etc. So, and it might be a different way, different frame of how people think. And I've always seemed to have this, I always look into the future and try to see and envision my life in the future and envision it with a good moment that's going to say, hey, this is what I want. This is my goal. This is what I want. Now,
We're at a quick step aside to hear from one of our
sponsors. How do I drive
If you're
it?
looking to improve your nutrition game
Where I
and
feel
get to those
people
goals,
get stuck is they say
Advanced
they want to do
Molecular
something.
Labs is dedicated
I wanna
to
do
top
this.
quality supplements.
But they just say
whether
it,
it's for
and
performance,
then they never have
recovery,
that thought about it, or
sleep,
they never
or weight loss.
construct the
They create
answers
supplements
to
based
get
on
there.
the latest scientific research. Many people have a supplement shelf in their kitchen, and just like us, we want it to be the best quality products that can support overall health each day. Check out advancedmolecularlabs.com and start getting your nutrition right.
And then if you don't think about it or envision it, it just goes away because you go back to your old routines. It's something where if it matters so much to you, you're going to take that thought and you're going to make that thought happen day in and day out. So my goal, going back to me at 15 years old, skinny guy, quiet guy, didn't think I was really attractive or good looking. What do I want to do? Okay, guess what? Let's go to the gym and put some muscle mass on. Nothing's changed, but I've just learned how to do it better to help younger people now. But besides the fact is when I look at today's meals, when I look at what I'm going to have today, it has one goal in mind. Am I going to get enough protein today and hit my protein goals? To get over 220 grams of protein. If it doesn't fit and get me towards 220 grams of protein, I'm not going to do it. If there's something that doesn't allow me to put on muscle mass or get stronger, I'm not going to waste my time. If there's something that is not beneficial for me from an education standpoint, or I'm not going to feel, or I feel I'm not going to learn something and make me a better coach, I'm not going to do it. Sometimes, yes, my brain gets so fixated on this thing that it's every minute of the day I feel I need to be doing something to improve in myself. There's probably the dichotomy of this ultra rigid mindset is saying, sometimes it's hard for me to shut my brain off. And it's always going on, how do I improve myself? I need to be using this moment, this second, this time to better myself or to do something to improve how I stand out as a coach or improve my body, improve my protein, improve my strength, improve my culture, improve my thought process, improve my connections, relationships, whatever it is, my brain's thinking that. And thinking in the future is one of the biggest things that I try to help people understand when it comes to having that discipline, that mindset, and that willpower is what's it going to look in the future. And in my head, I play scenarios out multiple times, and it even helped me with communications. It's helped me with scenarios, or helped me with anything else, is playing multiple scenarios in my head and how I'm going to react to them. Conversations in my head, how am I going to react to them? How does this look from not only today's aspect, but how is this going to look in 2 days, 5 days, 10 days down the road? What does the impact look like? When I do that, then that gives me the drive. So when I wake up, it's really, I'm just looking at specific, really 3 things. How to become a better coach, always how to improve, how to become a better husband or family man, or how to improve my family and the culture. How do I improve muscle mass and strength? Those things right there are what give me joy. Those things make me happy. Other things make me happy, but those things bring me true joy. And it's really, when I tell people and thinking about this question, it's that true self-worth that comes with that joy and happy, right? I feel great. This is going to sound completely stupid to some people. I feel absolutely great after a heavy and good lift, when I get a good pump and your body feels good. My ego just feels really good. I have to do that. I love working out. That's what it gives me. Depends on the workout. If I go run, I don't get that feeling. Put a barbell and weights and some strength training in my hand, I feel good. Brings me joy, brings me happy, feels I've accomplished something. And you see numbers go in the bar. Go back to my 15-year-old self. I want to look good for girls. That feeling right there allows me to feel I look good. My wife likes it, and then it's okay. I'm doing this for her. Yes, again, it's going to sound weird, but that's been my thought process for a while. I'm doing this so someone else can enjoy this. Then they get to reap the benefits of it, and it makes me happier because I'm making someone else happy. And that's one of their joys. So that's one of the big drivers of peeling back the mindset of my brain. With nutrition's the same, no different, right? Yeah, it's going to come down to, I've been really rigid, really strict. I have willpower. I tell anyone, you could put anything in front of me and I can sit there. It could smell great, but I can say no to it because deep down, I know it's not going to drive me to what I want to look like. And that is the biggest driver of my discipline and willpower. And it can be for anyone. You just have to outweigh where are your goals. What is that instant gratification or instant dopamine in front of you? Is that instant dopamine going to get you to your goals? If it's a simple no, there's your answer. Just don't do it. And then as you train your brain every time to say, hey, this isn't going to get me towards my goal, don't do it, you're going to sharpen and harden that willpower. So when that decision comes to make another decision, you're just, I'm good with this. No, I don't need this. I'm going to wait till I get my steak or my protein shake or whatever. It's that simple because in my eyes, if someone orders food and there's a bunch of free food, okay, well, if I eat that junk food or crap food, now I'm full and now I don't get my protein in. So now I look at, was my day good? Did I get 220 grams of protein? If that's a no, then that means potentially I might not be creating a anabolic adaptation for my body. Will I gain strength? If that answer is no, I just made a poor decision towards my goals. So when I look at my mindset and how to answer this question of what does your mindset look like, it's really about making these decisions of what the end goal looks like, and make that end goal. Make that end goal for 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, because if you don't have the end goal, you're just living in the present, and I don't want that to sound bad, because you do need to live in the present and have to be present. But if you live in the present and you feel good and you're happy and your mindset is squared away, that should bring you the joy. And that should bring you satisfaction and contentness to be, yes, I'm going to just keep going, because when you do get a big drop of it, it's so worth it. And a lot of people get caught up in these daily instant gratification things. And it can be, it's a real trap, right? Food tastes good, stuck on social media, comparing yourselves. And I understand that's a reality. But I want you to take that reality and intertwine it into your mindset, so that you're stuck on social media and you can't get off of it, and you're not happy because other people are more in shape than you are. Good. Get mad. Start envisioning yourself to where you want to be in 3 weeks or 3 months. Get so mad that you want to go do it, because now it's time to decide to act. And that's usually the big thing when people ask the mindset of decision. It's me acting. That action, taking action, is the first step. It might not be successful the first time, or it might take me a couple times to try, but you take actions every day towards that goal, you're going to learn. You're going to harden your decision making to become center focused around that goal. A lot of times I know people have many goals and they get distracted by life. They get distracted by things to buy, things to eat, things to absorb. Just for anything. This is not just nutrition and exercise. This comes down to, it can even come down to finances and money. And to be successful, you just got to, sometimes you have to make decisions that are tough, and you might miss out on some things, but you have to look at that long game, the end game of things. Because if you don't look at the end game of things and construct a path backwards, you're just going to live for the day, live for the moment, live for tomorrow, and not really have a plan. And when you don't have a plan, there's no real structure of decision making. So it's almost an anything goes decision making. And that's not how it goes. You look at any successful sports teams or actors or any of these really successful businesses. They're not just, hey, we're going to decide what we're going to do today and get lucky and get rich. There's always a plan. There's always following a plan and persevering through. And that's one of the biggest things that I wish I could transfer this. I wish I could give this to people, but to help you guys understand how to set that plan. Set that plan and have an absolute animalistic goal to drive to get there, and let nothing stop you in your path. Things are going to stop you. Of course they are. Of course things are going to distract you and stop you or slow you down, but that doesn't mean you quit. It's that mindset I had of, I'm not the best at anything really, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be a pain in your ass until you want to quit, and I'm going to keep going. That makes that mindset become solidified, and it won't change because nothing can come in your way. So a little deep dive into my brain, how my mindset works, and what I people to hear, and how I to make decisions. Because I think a lot of people, when I want people to hear this, because when people ask me this question, it's a hard thing to tell them in 2 minutes and to digest. And I do say it's a self-centered, but that's what's driven me. And that's what drives a lot of people. If you go back and look at the documentary with Michael Jordan, some of these great athletes, they have these really not absolute deterministic mindsets. And that's okay to have. And I'm a firm believer that it's okay to have. And I get this feeling nowadays that a lot of society don't want people to have these hard, stern, deterministic, but it is a reality. And it is a harsh reality. And if you want to become successful, you have to understand it. You got to have this one track goal and own it. Yeah, other things are going to come into your life. It's a balance. I'm going to do anything. Some people will, but you have to have that, I believe, that firm drive underneath yourself first, and then you can start taking on the rest of the world and taking on your goals and success. And for me, it's just not stop. Every day I wake up at 4:14 and I'm going to hit a workout starting at 4:30. People ask me why I wake up. No one else is doing it. Or very few people are getting up at 4:30 to hit a strength training session or a workout. Most people are comfy in bed. They're going to hit the snooze button. They don't want to get up. For me, that's laziness. One step ahead of someone, because mentally I'm more squared away and mentally tougher than that person. Even if I get 3 hours of sleep coming home from a trip, I'm still going to do it because my day needs to go on and things need to get done. That's how my brain works, and that's how I operate. No, I don't think that other person who hits snooze is bad or anything. But when it comes down to, like I said earlier, when the coach asks you, did you work hard enough? And are you setting the standard for the team? And do I want you on my team? Those are the people that I look for. The hardworking people driven for success and the mindset that is going to persevere. So when things get tough and things get rough, they're not going to quit. They're not going to take a back seat and procrastinate, or they're not going to hit that snooze button when things really need to get done, because then I need to trust on people on a team or wherever in life, trust on people to be there. And that's where that mindset is how do we elevate, right? How do we set a standard for other people? I want to set that standard for all my athletes, my clients, the listeners, that hopefully when you listen, you're going to start setting that standard for yourself, your family, significant others, or just start with yourself first. Because once people start seeing that standard, then it starts to spread, because people know, oh wow, here's that standard of this person. They're really successful. What are they doing? I want to get on that path. Now there's more structure, and it's teaching them to be more successful, and success spreads. There's one thing that drives me crazy, and is a pet peeve of mine, is laziness. Because laziness breeds more laziness, and then lazy people complain about the people who are successful and hardworking. Drives me up a wall, goes back to my weight room days. Still does. The weight room does not lie. If you're lazy in the weight room and don't see results, that's on you. While the other person over there is getting bigger and stronger, the lazy people are going to make excuses and want to tear them down because they just excelled past it. Sports is the same way. Hard work, talent, you're going to start. People just show up and want to be lazy and think they have talent, and then people surpass them, they lose it, then they get aggravated and mad because they just lost something that they think is theirs. The weight room teaches that lesson. It will always be a fight in the weight room. There's always going to be someone better. There's always going to be people trying to excel over you. You have to keep pushing yourself to put more weight on that bar, to move that bar more. The bar is going to push you down. And if you succumb to the bar, you're going to be lazy and you're going to be left in the dust, because other people will become successful and you're just going to become stagnant. And I never want people to become stagnant. And I want people to be successful. I want people to have this deterministic drive that they're not going to stop until they're happy and successful. They get there and they want more of it. They want to be successful in other ways and helping other people. Right now, that's really one of my biggest joys, is helping other people find their purpose and drive themselves to their potential. So that wraps us up today on my little mindset, diving into my mind and how my drives when I wake up every day work. If you do have any questions on mindset, nutrition, exercise, please reach out to us. Send us a note at thinkfitnesslife.com. Send us an email. You can find us on Instagram at thinkfitnesslife. Send us a message. We do nutrition planning. We do exercise program. We do postural restoration work. We do it all, whatever you need. Go check out some of our blogs, some of our YouTube videos, some of our Instagram videos, TikTok videos. They're there for your education. We want to better you guys. We want to put more into you. We want to become and enhance yourself to be the best version of yourself and to reach your best potential. Sometimes it takes a little drive. You have to understand successful people and what makes other people tick. Hopefully you get something out of it. Hopefully you want to wake up tomorrow early, maybe not 4:30, maybe at 4:30. Maybe you want to beat me. Maybe you want to get up at 4:05 and start your path, because now you get up that early, you're going to have more time in your day. You're going to accomplish one more task than you did today, and you're going to set a new standard. You're going to set standards for people around you because they're going to want to elevate to your level. So until next time.
Matt Gluckman and Eric Menchie here from Think Fitness Life. Our entire careers have been dedicated to fitness, particularly how the mind helps the body. We've been around gyms and nutrition strategies for 25 plus years collectively, and nothing harms or helps better than your own mind, untrained or trained. Pushing beyond your limits, overcoming whatever's thrown your way, and making the decision to show up day in and day out as a lifestyle takes more soul than sand. And what I mean by that is when you can get your mindset and heart leading you consistently in the direction of your goals and dreams, well, it's just a matter of time before you have the performance, physique, or quality of life you're yearning for. See, your thoughts will stem from your beliefs, which will then lead you to action, which develop into your behavior and ultimately lead you to results. It's really that simple. Our process takes time and it takes open communication. It's amazing what pops up along the fitness journey to betterment, and we can be there every step of the way. To learn more or apply for coaching, visit www.thinkfitnesslife.com. Start recreating your life today.